So during these times now, with the quarantine, coronavirus, everything else, what does Louis Armstrong's story represent for people? What does Louis represent? What does the house represent, the museum? Louis is going to be gone 50 years next year. We're doing these videos because we're not sure even when we're going to reopen. But what is the importance of Armstrong and of the museum and of what we're doing in these trying times?
I think about this a lot. I think about it a lot. I think about it every day. And with each passing day of me not being in Louis's garage, like giving pencils to like 6 years old people who are, I think about it quite a bit. And with each day it magnifies inside of me. When we reopen and when we have a new visitor center, and when people will feel safe enough to stand close to each other and walk through Louis's house and see his kitchen, they're really going to need that real uplifting Louis story and his energy and his sense of bringing people together. And he exemplified this throughout his entire life. And it's going to be our job to kind of spread that around. It's not going to be a time for, it's not really going to be a time for far out thinking and expressive. It's really going to be a time about humanity, bringing people together, and uplifting this society. Like once this pandemic is over, the world is going to have PTSD, and there's going to be a need for many positive feelings to help us get through this period. And Louis's story, I've seen it daily for 10 years of people coming into the house, knowing a little bit about Louis, or maybe not knowing anything about Louis. I saw it with a person who became a future board member, and walking out of that house in complete tears, like a cathartic, intimate, just 40 minutes of walking in the shoes of a really great and humble and giving person who really put his life on the line to really express something that was very positive. Louis could have been a very bitter person, and rightfully so. He had every chance to be, but he chose not to be. It was a choice that he made, and you see that in pictures. You can hear it on records. You can see it in his collages. Like he chose not to go down that route. And I think this is one of the reasons why he was able to have a career. He had hits, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. What a Wonderful World, 1986. He had hits, not just a career for hits. He was on top of and there's no way that's going to be duplicated because people aren't buying records anymore. And I think that once people, they walk in that house, like I said, they're surrounded by Louis's energy. It takes them away from this collective funk that's going to be over this planet for however long this pandemic's going to go on. And we pointed this out before. We pointed this out the other day. He mentions the Spanish. He was part of the Spanish flu.
Yeah. He writes about it in My Life in New Orleans. Yep.
My Life in New Orleans, right? Yeah.
And they shut down the gigs. He couldn't play for 6 months. He had to work odd jobs. He took care of everybody in the neighborhood. Yeah, because he never got sick. But so same thing.
Same thing, man. man, but you need to put that up there. You need,
Yeah.
we need to post that.
Yeah.
It's you know, a big part of my job is humbling. People come in, and I will say this, like if this museum was like on Museum Mile, like right next to like the Guggenheim, I don't think we'd have the same balance of, I think we would just get a lot of random people walking in, and some people, I think it would affect everybody, but not the same. But there's something about getting on that train and going to Corona. It's kind of a filter. So by the time somebody makes it to the house, it's like they're there because they want to be there. You know, like it's the location creates a self-selection of who the visitor is. So oftentimes when somebody opens the door, like we already got them to a certain degree. And so then it's just our job to just kind of like toss the softball of walking them through the house. And when they're done, I'd say 90 to 95% of the people are moved. And you see the guest book. Some of the people who write, you know, it might not even be in English, and you can see it. Like it's just a moving experience. And it's our job to curate that experience, the intimacy, the correct visitor experience, maintaining of the structure in such a way that people see it the way Louis and Lucille saw the house. And when people are done with that, then we've created a new fan. You know, we've done our part. You know.
Beautiful.
Was that cool?
That was great, man. That was great. I mean, I have more than enough that, you know, I said this is perfect because we've already done a few of these posts and we're already planning a few. So when we do a Lucille post, we'll have something. When we do the neighbors, we'll have something. Is there anything that you want to say, or a story, or anything missing today before we sign off?
I don't know. I mean, I will say that the longer I'm there, the more I learn. In the beginning, when I came there, the information was kind of like an onslaught. And, you know, now that I've been there for a while, the information still comes in. And I feel like now I'm noticing more. It could just be body language from a visitor. And in the sense of, oh, this person doesn't know much about Louis Armstrong, you know, because the way they look around or something like that. And then when I see them afterwards, you know, I can say, we got him, you know, like, or people show up and they say, oh, I saw Louis in Wisconsin. And then we look in the books and we're like, you know, like we don't have that date in the book, but it makes sense because he was in Chicago the week before. And so, you know, I see like certain holes in our itinerary slowly being filled up. Every once in a while, we'll get something in the mail. It'll be an autograph, or we get a new collection. And so I feel like one of the things I feel like we've only scratched the surface. We've only scratched, you know, we're only, I think opening the house and opening the archives was a huge achievement by Cogswell and Queens College and the foundation. But I think we're just getting started. I really think you know, once we get our fellowship program really rolling and we start get these scholars to come in and young people, and like I think we're really just on the cusp of taking this whole organization to a whole different level, you know. And it'll always be about Louis.